So it is just a matter of time until we get the next giant economic crash. That's something I've been saying for a while, but Washington is working overtime to make sure of it and to make sure that that crash happens sooner rather than later. So this is from earlier in the week. Senators reach rare bipartisan deal to erase banking rules. Look at just the framing of that. The framing of that is misleading. Because everybody knows the implication. Senators reach rare bipartisan deal to ease banking rules. Bipartisanship. This is the thing corporate media comes on themselves when they hear bipartisanship. Oh, yes, the reasonable Republicans and Democrats working together to screw over the middle class and serve corporate leaders. Yes, yes. They love bipartisanship. It literally doesn't matter what's in the bipartisan deal. If it's bipartisan, they're like, bipartisan, bipartisan. You guys both voted to have dragons fuck our grandmas in the ass. But bipartisanship, it's bipartisan. It's not inherently good. In fact, based on the data, based on the results, there's a much better case to be made that bipartisanship is inherently bad. Because whenever Democrats and Republicans agree, it's corporate Democrats and corporate Republicans, and they agree to screw over the middle class. Here's a perfect example of it here. So, the agreement would ease mortgage rules for small lenders. This is what they say. Simplify capital requirements, and let them escape a proprietary trading ban from Dodd-Frank known as the Volcker Rule. Wow. Okay, so let me break that down for you. The first part is the thing that they use to argue that, no, there's nothing wrong with this. We're just trying to help out the little guy. That's what we're trying to do. Ugh, what's wrong with you guys? You don't realize that we're trying to help out the little guy? That's why they add the first part in there. The first part is, we're going to ease mortgage rule for small lenders. So in other words, small regional banks, community banks, they're being crushed by burdensome regulations. So we're just looking out for the little guy by deregulating these small banks. I mean, come on. Don't you want to look out for the little guy? That's what they use for their deniability, for the part that this is really about. What this is really about is the latter, where it's letting them escape the proprietary trading ban called the Volcker Rule. So what that means is, it's similar to Glass-Steagall. What Glass-Steagall did is it made it so that you can't, when you go put your money in the bank, there's an assumption that we all have that this is relatively safe. I'm putting my money in the bank. I mean, the bank's allowed to make investments with it, but they can't do crazy casino capitalist bets. You can't do speculation, and you can't do bets on derivatives, for example. So in other words, you have to do safe bets. You can't go nuts and do Wall Street-style casino capitalist bets that are eventually going to blow up. Well, there used to be a separation between investment banking and commercial banking, and the repeal of Glass-Steagall with the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act got rid of that. The Volcker Rule is an attempt to bring back, portions of Glass-Steagall, where it's supposed to be more safe investments. But now they're getting rid of that. And again, what they're doing is they're trying to hide it by saying, no, we're just helping out small banks because the rules are too strict for the small banks to do well. What? No, we're looking out for the little guy. No, well, then why did you slip in the, taking an axe to the few important provisions of Dodd-Frank? By the way, I'm not a big fan of Dodd-Frank, but the reason I'm not a big fan of Dodd-Frank is because it didn't go far enough. These guys don't like Dodd-Frank because they think it goes too far. That's what corporate Democrats and corporate Republicans agree on. Now, furthermore, in the same agreement here, they also deregulate stricter oversight and stress testing requirements of banks with between $50 billion and $250 billion in assets. So here we go. Again, this is the oldest trick in the book. Paul Ryan loved to say, back when there was Romney and Ryan running in 2012, in the debate with Biden, he brought it up too. They're like, these small, we're just trying to cut taxes and deregulate for small businesses. We're just trying to help out small businesses. And Biden responded, hey, jackass, no, we looked at your plan and you consider small businesses hedge funds on Wall Street that have billions of dollars worth of assets. That's not small business. You're just defining it as small business, but you're wrongly defining it that way. Well, that's what this is. When they say, oh, we're just deregulating the small banks. That's it, just the small banks. What do they mean by small? Between 50 billion and 250 billion. Is that small? Does that strike you as fucking small? No, of course they need oversight. I mean, those are large banks. They may not be the biggest, but they're pretty large banks. What they're saying is, nah, they're the smartest guys in the room, and we don't want to crack down on the little guy who has $127 billion worth of assets, so we're going to deregulate these people and end the stricter oversight. Capital requirements. They're gutting capital requirements. So, you're supposed to have a certain amount of cash or assets on hand to do certain bets and make certain investments. They're getting rid of the capital requirements. This is all the same shit that led to the fucking crash in the first place, and they're doing it, and they're doing it happily. Now, who's part of this lovely band of fucking corporate sellouts? Well, virtually every Republican was like, yeah, let's get rid of these rules. Yeah, it's great. We love to blow corporations. But Democrats crossed over too. Well, of course, bipartisan. So Democrats, by definition, had to be involved in this. Well, which ones did it? Heidi Heitkamp, John Tester, Mark Warner, Gary Peters, Independent Angus King, who caucuses with the Democrats. Then we have Claire McCaskill. We have Tim Kaine. Great pick, Hillary, for your VP. I wonder why you guys lost. You're fucking horrendous corporate sellouts. That's why. And of course, you knew it was coming. Say it with me. Joe Manchin. Joe fucking Manchin. Corporate Democrat extraordinaire Joe Manchin voted to ease. Because, that's what the people of West Virginia want so bad. They're struggling to keep the lights on and put food on the table and have fucking clean water so that their kids can drink it and not get sick. And Joe Manchin's delivering on the promise of easing banking regulations on Wall Street so that we can have another crash and we can have it sooner. They don't give a fuck about you, man. And why are they doing this? Again, it has nothing to do with what they think is actually a good idea for the economy. They're all bought. They're all bought. Every last one of these people who supported this agreement, they're bought by Wall Street and big banks. That's what it is. When you take campaign contributions from them, you do their bidding. That's what it is. There's no interpretation of, well, no, maybe they thought it was a good idea to go right back to doing some of the same shit that led to the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession. That you don't understand. There's not even a theoretical leg for these guys to stand on that this is a good idea for the economy. Not even theoretical. We learned that massive deregulation was a terrible idea back in the 19-teens and 1920s when they deregulated like crazy, cut taxes for the rich, and then we had the Great Depression. We learned it under Reagan because as soon as Reagan got out of office, he slashed taxes and he deregulated. Then we had a crash right after Reagan. Bill Clinton and George W. Bush. Deregulation, boom, subprime mortgage crisis and Great Recession. Every time you cut taxes for the rich and deregulate, you get a crash. You get a boom-bust cycle. Everything takes off. And, oh, my God. That's why do you think they called it the Roaring 20s? Because the market was fucking roaring. Oh, yeah, the good times are never going to stop. Oh, shit, it was all fake and the bubble burst and now we're worse off. What do you think's happening right now? Right the fuck now. Every day you get, Trump right in the market's doing tremendous, It is unprecedented growth. But whenever there's unprecedented growth, it's followed by a giant, bubble burst, and then we tank everything. And it is because of the policies coming out of Washington, because they're beholden to their corporate donors, and they are paid to deregulate and let these guys, oh no, we're the smartest guys in the room, we'll take care of this. No, what they always do is rig the rules so that they get rich at the expense of everybody else. What do you think happened last time? You had the CEOs of these Wall Street firms who made the decisions that bankrupted their companies. When the crash happened, Washington swooped in, bailed them out, and then they got paid bonuses. You were responsible for your company going belly up. You got bailed out by middle-class taxpayers, and now you expect a bonus. And then they had the nerve to tell us when they were trying to explain why they paid the bonuses. Oh, no, but you guys don't get it. We're just trying to retain the talent. Retain the talent? They bankrupted the fucking company. But this is the game that's being played on all of us. There's no actual argument that this is a good idea. They're only doing it because they're corporate sellouts. That's what it is. JusticeDemocrats.com/fight. We're running 32 candidates. 32 candidates that are not taking corporate PAC money, not taking billionaire money, raising in small dollar contributions so that we can represent the people. We can get in there and fight for Medicare for all, fight for a living wage, fight for free college, fight to end the wars, fight to re-regulate Wall Street and tax the rich their fair share. When you run politicians who are populist left, who represent the people and who know the issues, that's the only way that you're going to fight back against this clown brigade that is destroying the country even further.